In the previous videos, we've explored how Jesus fulfilled various messianic prophecies, not only in the Torah, but also in the writings of the prophets. But the prophecies don't end there. As Jesus said in Luke 24 verse 44, the final section of the Hebrew scriptures, the Ketuvi or the writings, especially the Psalms, also point to Jesus as the Messiah. In this video, we explore how the Psalms reveal Jesus as the Messiah with specific prophecies and types that point directly to his life, death and resurrection. The first psalm that directly points to Jesus is Psalm 2, which speaks of the Messiah as the anointed king destined to rule the nations. Psalm 2 verse 6 describes how the Lord will install his king, the Messiah, on his holy hill of Zion and give him authority over all the earth. But there's more to this prophecy. Psalm 2 also highlights a crucial piece of information about the Messiah. He would be the begotten son of the Heavenly Father. The concept of the Messiah as God's begotten son echoes back to Abraham's near sacrifice of Isaac, his beloved and only begotten son. Just as Isaac was a foreshadowing, the Messiah would also be described as God's begotten son. This prophecy finds its ultimate fulfillment in Jesus, who is declared the Son of God at his baptism found in Matthew chapter 3 verse 17 and his transfiguration in Matthew chapter 17 verse 5. Psalm 2 goes on to describe the complete authority that this beloved son would have over all the nations and the entire earth. This is fulfilled when Jesus declares after his resurrection that all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to him. The Psalm 2 not only foretells the Messiah's divine sonship, but also unrivaled authority to rule the nations. Perhaps one of the most profound messianic prophecies in the Psalms is Psalm 22, a psalm of David that vividly describes the suffering of a righteous person. While David may have experienced personal anguish, this psalm ultimately points to Jesus' crucifixion. Jesus himself quotes the opening words of the psalm while on the cross, confirming its connection to his own suffering. This cry of abandonment reflects Jesus' experience on the cross when he took on the weight of humanity's sin and felt the separation from his Father. But the psalm doesn't stop there. David goes on to describe details of the suffering that closely match Jesus' passion. The psalm talks about how the Messiah would be subject of mockery and sarcasm. This is reflected in the crucifixion account where the onlookers, the soldiers and the chief priests, scribes and elders mock Jesus with the same words mentioned in the psalm. The psalm also describes how the persecutors would cast lots for the Messiah's garments. This is exactly what happens during the crucifixion. The soldiers crucified Jesus and cast lots for his garments. The psalm also specifically mentions the pierced hands and feet which Jesus would also experience because of the crucifixion. Psalm 22 not only foreshadows the suffering of Christ in remarkable detail, but also points to the ultimate purpose of his sacrifice, the proclamation of his righteousness to future generations. This prophecy finds its fulfillment in Jesus' final words on the cross. It is finished, declaring the completion of God's redemptive plan. So Psalm 22 serves as a profound messianic prophecy pointing directly to the suffering and ultimate triumph of Christ, whose death and resurrection brings its words to full fruition. What interesting connections have you found between the Gospels and the Old Testament prophecies that show Jesus is the Messiah? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to stay updated with our channel. Until then, stay unapologetically Catholic.